Skillarty. Shonda Paul, some give it to, some give it to, some give it to our girls. 5 million and 40 naughty shorty. Baby girl, all my girls, all my girls. Shonda Paul say, well, on the way the time cold, I wanna be keeping you warm. I got the right temperature for shelter you from the storm. Hold on, girl, I got the right tactics to turn you on. And girl, I wanna be the papa, you can be the mom. Oh, oh.
Welcome to
Burger Edition,
the show where we review burgers and go terribly off topic. This is episode 101, Brasserie T, 1425 Rue Jean-Mance in Montreal, right beside Place des Arts. I'm Sebastien.
I'm Matt.
Matthew.
Yes.
On our way to eating a burger today. It's been a long time. We took a little summer hiatus.
Oh yeah, took a whole summer off.
Basically, a couple months.
Needed that recuperation time. I didn't have one burger the whole time.
Is that true?
True.
Wow. I was not so strong.
Well,
on our way to getting our burger today, we saw a man dressed as Spider-Man. A knockoff street performer Spider-Man.
it's been a long time I haven't seen a Spider-Man knockoff on the streets of Montreal.
Yeah, likewise.
He wasn't the same. He wasn't the whistling Spider-Man.
What is the Whistling Spider-Man? You mentioned that. I don't know the Whistling Spider-Man.
You don't remember the whistling Spider-Man?
I do not.
Years ago, even before, I think when Tobey Maguire was still portraying the character. He'd be standing out there in a very low rent Spider-Man costume.
Mm-hmm. Was this one.
Oh, yeah, but I think even worse. And he was doing like a Macarena-style dance with a radio behind him.
Okay.
But he'd be whistling the whole time.
Seems like it'd be tough to whistle to... Did he have like a whistle? Or he was just puckering his lips and blowing through a mask?
Yeah, that's what I never understood. I always thought maybe the whistling was incorporated into the songs. Maybe he had done some editing on his own at home. Or if he had a little whistle. But it was more like I put my arm out and I go, put my other arm out. So it was a constant.
I get it.
I don't know what the point was. It's not something. Did Spider-Man ever do that in the comics?
Not that I know of.
Whistle on the street and,
not that I know
dance?
of. So what do you think this Spider-Man was doing? Because all I saw was he was standing there on a street corner.
Yeah.
He didn't seem to have anything near him. He just had red sneakers on.
Yeah.
And a kid came out of a mall and said, Spider-Man, fuck you. And then got a high five from Spider-Man.
Yeah. Spider-Man turned him around pretty quick.
Yeah.
But it was odd because he was not really doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
He was accepting high fives,
yes,
but not soliciting them.
No.
I don't know. I don't know if he was waiting for crime to happen.
Exactly. Now, Matthew, you brought a premise up.
Yes.
Where you asked, if you are that Spider-Man dressed up on the street, are you obliged to stop a crime if you see it?
I think you would be. I think you'd have to be, because somebody
My
out there
answer is
is going to... Yeah, so we're in agreement then, because you're... I mean, it's... We'll answer this. If you're dressed up like a cop,
mm-hmm,
and you see not like a shooting or something, but like a purse snatch.
Yeah.
I don't know if they exist in real life. I've never really seen anyone...
Sure.
But someone steals a purse and starts running. Like, if you're dressed as a cop, are you obliged to help? A little more than someone else, because...
Well, you shouldn't be dressed as a cop to begin with, right? That's
true. I think
impersonating a police
illegal.
officer, yeah.
That's illegal. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so let's go back to Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man should probably chase the...
I think so.
At least for the children.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to ruin the image of Spider-Man. It's going to...
Chase him down and tackle this fella.
Disney's going to have a hard time with this, ruining his image.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Spider-Man does nothing. Just high fives a kid who's swearing at him.
He's seen better days. Yeah, I guess you would have to do something, but we should... I mean, I've always wanted... When I've seen people dressed up as these characters, and it's not too often,
sure,
but sometimes you'll see someone dressed up as like a SpongeBob in New York City, not in Montreal. But I've always wanted to dress up as a villain. Like,
who's SpongeBob's villain?
Let's
make it easier. Let's go with a Spider-Man villain.
I would have to say anybody on land, because what do humans do? They just take sponges and they clean orifices with them.
I suppose. Yeah.
Butts and
orifices.
Stuff.
Or dishes.
Or dishes, yeah. But you want to go easy? Go with Spider-Man?
Let's go with Spider-Man. So you're saying you see a dancing Spider-Man, you run to the costume store, you get a Green Goblin costume, and you come running at him?
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think I know any other villains. So
you come running at him and you just clock him?
No, I we'd have to keep it friendly, right? Keep it in
Would
the
you?
same. I guess I'm a villain. I could do anything.
Yeah.
I'm setting the stage. I could do whatever I want.
Wouldn't that be amazing if you're seeing like a dancing Spider-Man and a guy dressed up as the Green Goblin just comes running up from behind him, knocks him out cold, and laughs and then runs away?
And probably steals like the quarters he's been made.
Yeah, steals his boombox and like hat full of quarters.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd want to be so malicious right up front, but I think it would be something that escalates. And after a few weeks of this, I'm like actually...
Like you're tormenting him over time, over weeks.
Yeah. Like throwing firecrackers into his little hat where he's collecting money. But eventually I'm stealing children and like, sending text messages to his phone where it's like I'm with his family.
How'd you get his number?
I'm malicious.
Okay.
I'm I don't know. I feel like I'd invest a lot of effort into this.
How much time do you think until a street Spider-Man gets the police involved?
Well, at that point, I've won. Spider-Man has to go to the police.
Yeah, you got me there. But he's not really Spider-Man.
Hang up your leotards,
Hang up your tights, yeah.
boy.
Now, Matthew, you know how much I dislike the police.
You've mentioned
it's pretty well documented. If you're a regular listener of this podcast, I tend to not like the police. But I had a pretty good run-in with the cops since last we recorded this podcast.
Oh, good.
I was walking to a friend's house for a barbecue, and a street was closed down for a street fair of some kind. There was some sort of live hip-hop concert being performed.
There's something every other day.
That's always something.
Some fest.
And so that drove me off of the street I was intending on taking to go to my friend's house. So I had to walk down a bike path. While I was walking down this bike path, I thought to myself, hey, I have to pee. So I went ahead and did so. I found a good tree and just started peeing. And then...
I love the way your mind works. It's so efficient.
Gotta pee? I guess I'll pee.
I'll do it.
And it was like, it's a little bicycle path that's like hidden away. It's just trees around sort of thing. So I felt pretty secure doing so. And then as I'm peeing, I hear someone behind me, and I turn around, and it's a police officer on a bicycle.
Man or woman?
Man.
Okay.
And so I pull my headphones out because I was listening to, I don't know what I was listening to, it doesn't matter. And I finish peeing. Because when I go stop.
I want to know what you pee to. I think it matters quite a bit.
It's not what I pee to, it's what I was walking to. It doesn't matter.
Bruce Springsteen.
I don't know what I was listening to. This is a month or plus ago.
All right.
I finished peeing, zip up, turn around, and I think I clearly looked defeated. I've thought to myself before, I've peed outdoors so many times that I deserve a few tickets by now. If I got a ticket every time I publicly urinated, I would be flat broke. But I have never gotten a ticket, so I figured, karma's caught up to me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, you got me. And he's like, does this look like a bathroom? I go, no.
He started off salty.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I am doing a legal act.
Was it the woods?
No, it wasn't the woods. It was off a bike path.
Not a tree, though.
I was peeing on a tree.
Well, then you say, yes, it does look like a washroom.
Wow. Not really.
Right.
Let's not get snarky with the police right off the bat.
All right.
And I said, no, obviously, it's not a washroom. And he goes, on this street right over here, there are plenty of restaurants and bars. I say, I couldn't use that street. It was sealed off for the street festival, and I've got all kinds of beer in my backpack. They wouldn't let me onto the street.
Why did you have all that beer in your backpack?
I was going to a barbecue.
All right.
And so he kind of shrugged at that, and I was kind of like, yeah. And then he said, all right, have a good night. And I thought, well, this can't be. I'm still getting a ticket, right? I didn't say that, but I was thinking that.
Yeah.
And then he turned around, got back on his bike. I was like, oh, I've made it off scot-free. Thank God I didn't mention to him that my friend lives like a minute away.
Okay.
So I had a good run-in with the police.
That was the story?
That's the whole story.
That's the good story? I mean, that doesn't sound...
It was a positive story where I
think
didn't get a ticket, and he reacted to a reasonable excuse.
Reasonably.
I
thought your pleasant experience, your like good experience was going to be like, he went above and beyond the Call of Duty and like did something that you didn't expect. He just didn't feel like writing you a ticket for public urination.
Yeah, Matthew, that's a good cop in my books. Not a excellent cop. That's a cop doing a good thing, because in Montreal the cops are f***ing
Oh man.
and so this is the best I expect from a cop. Turning and looking the other way
Okay.
while I
mean,
pee in the woods.
Okay, well, I'll counter this. I won't even counter it with another cop story. It's not really countering means I'm trying to like balance out the good and the bad, right?
Just you got another cop story to throw out there.
We were maybe 3-4 people in a car. It was maybe 1 a.m. My friend had just gotten his car washed, and he loved speeding.
Okay.
And he figured nobody's on the road. It's a pretty quiet street, so he was just bombing down this road.
A
Cop
nice shiny car.
obviously pulls him over real
Yeah.
quick. Walks up. It was a lady cop, and she said, "Do you know how fast you were going?" The whole thing. Why were you speeding? And at that point, what can you say to get out of it? There's no good reason unless someone's bleeding in the back
exactly. You need a serious emergency.
Yeah. So he
You
says,
can't, your answer can't be, "I'm trying to dry my car."
"Have I already told you this story?"
Was that the answer?
That
Oh
was
my
the
god!
answer. He was like, "Well, I just got my car washed, and I need to dry it off."
Oh gosh!
And then she steps back, looks at the car, says, "It does look pretty clean." And then she looks in the car and is like, "Go home. Don't listen to your stupid friends. Yeah, just get home safe."
Wow.
And she walks away, and he says, like, "Yes, ma'am. Don't worry. I won't listen to my stupid friends in the back." We were all the ones telling him not to speed. And then the cop calls us stupid
Well,
and walks away. So
again, bad cop.
bad cop, but is that a good encounter?
I think that's a pretty positive encounter.
What if he had driven off and then hit a family? A 1 a.m. family that likes taking walks at 1 a.m.
Well, hopefully he wouldn't be speeding again after just getting stopped.
I guess. Well, the car wasn't dry yet.
Yeah, you got me there. Still dripping.
Well, I'm glad that you're turning around on law enforcement.
So Brasserie T,
What does the T stand for?
Toke, something like that. Because it's a spin-off restaurant of another restaurant.
Okay. It was like an annex?
Sort of. I mean,
It wasn't a real building.
it's like a pop-up building. So it's this long, basically corridor, a glass and steel corridor of a restaurant that is the spin-off restaurant of, I believe it's Toke. Touque. I think there's an apostrophe, or it's just Tuk. But I think that's the name, the family name of the head chef. So this is just Brasserie T ! So I think we should be shouting T every time. Brasserie T!
Okay.
So yeah, it's a strange little space for a restaurant right beside Place des Arts. Last week there was a Beach Boys concert there. They do live outdoor concerts for the Jazz Fest. This is usually a very hip and happening area of town during the festival season.
The Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys. Is that not hip and happening? I guess it's happening, but maybe not hip.
I mean, it's 2018.
Yeah.
Right now. When did they come out with music?
Mid 60s, mid to late 60s.
I am more surprised that they are alive.
Yeah, actually, we were talking about that today. I was like, is Brian Wilson alive? I think Brian Wilson's alive.
They did the kind of music that you can't do when you're 50 years older.
Because it's all about like surfing and the beach and like youthful things.
Yeah, but also like they were teenagers, weren't they? Or like in their 20s. Well, I guess Hanson was able to do it, and they weren't even all teenagers.
Well, Hanson's still doing it. They're still playing Mbop.
No, I know. I saw Hanson a little while back. And
Yeah.
They're not the same, but they've evolved. So I guess if
Have
Hanson can do it, then there's hope for the Beach Boys.
How much have they evolved if they're still singing Mbop?
Their hair's shorter.
Okay.
They've all cut their hair.
Okay. Well, that's just more of a sign of the times. I'm sure the Beach Boys were still wearing Hawaiian shirts and
Yeah,
they're playing the same songs. I passed by while they were playing Get Around.
but they're not making new music.
No, I highly doubt that.
But they're still around as a band touring, and they don't just like that's when the
I
love
feel
of
like
the
they
music has
tour.
died.
I feel like they probably tour very rarely.
And they don't even try
And
to
it's
write
an
one
occasion.
new song.
But no one wants to hear the new song.
But wouldn't they just want to know? It's like, hey, guys, Brian,
I'm sure they could. But
Can we
listen,
still
if
do
you're
it?
the Beach Boys and you know that like no one cares, no one's there for the new song. Play the hits.
Yeah, they're the Beach Boys, though. You got to change it after a while. What would they be now? The Beach, not even the Beach Men. They skipped that moment in their lives. Now they're the Beach,
The Beach Men doesn't sound right.
the Beach folk.